Prep Beat. It's Thomas Lawrence. I'm TJ Holmes. Talking game of the week. Chico at Foothill this week. You know, Thomas, both these teams have really high-flying offenses, can put up points in a hurry. You know, both teams have really dynamic playmakers in this one. So this one could see a lot of points right away.
Yeah, and for Chico, their quarterback Daniel Robbins and their wide receiver Jesse Holmes, as you wrote in your Game of the Week story, they lead their respective positions in the section in touchdowns and yards. And for Foothill, they got Cooper Janisevskis and Davis Kepon, senior wide receivers, who not only have great hands, but as they showed in a tough loss to Enterprise last week, can really make some noise once they get the ball as well. So those are some great targets for junior quarterback Ryan Pollard to throw to.
Yeah, I can really see this becoming a track meet really quickly. I mean, there's going to be no shortage of big plays. You know, Foothill scored 5 times last week in that shootout with Enterprise on plays over 30 yards. So they're really able to go the distance, even on the runs or passes, with Blake Burnett last week with 3 long rushing touchdowns, you know, and can pass the ball as well. You know, so this could be a shootout that could get out of hand early, or it could really come down to the end like the Enterprise game.
It was a shootout last year, but only on one side. You know, Foothill beat Chico 51-20 last year. So for Chico coming into Foothill, not only a chance to, you know, continue their bid for home field advantage in the playoffs. You know, they had 5 first-place votes this week in the Northern Section media poll, but a chance for some revenge against Foothill.
Yeah, you know, a team that's really another matchup that wants revenge is Paradise. You know, losing to Chico last week, you know, their first, that's a tough one for Paradise to swallow. Then Paradise also lost to Shasta in overtime last year up in Reading. So Paradise is really going to be angry in this one. They really want to beat Shasta for last year and really want to get a win after that loss against Chico from last week.
Yeah, and Enterprise, you know, hosts Sutter this week, the #1 team in Division II, TJ, and not as much on the line, you know, per se as some of the league games, but a matchup against one of the toughest teams in D2, and right now and throughout a lot of the year, the #1 team in D2, still undefeated.
Yeah, in this one, it's not really that big of a matchup that we thought it was going to be at the beginning of the year. I mean, we both knew these teams were going to be tough, really big. You know, this was going to be a marquee game, the one that everyone's got circled, the top team in D1 versus the top team in D2. It's still 2 really tough teams, but it doesn't have as much importance this week. You know, playoff points already there. They're already going to get all the points they can. It's a non-league matchup, so it's not as high of importance as we thought it was going to be.
For Enterprise, you know, taking on a team that's got both the top scoring offense and defense in the section. And, you know, Enterprise, after losing at West Valley this year, really wants to avoid another D2 loss, albeit if it happened, it would be to the #1 team in D2. And another team in Division II that's making some noise, who's kind of risen like the Phoenix, is Central Valley. And they're hosting Wairika this week in a big matchup. Central Valley got through that first part of the year. You know, they were 1-4 after a really brutal preseason schedule. They've started out 2-0 in league. They upset West Valley on the road, and last week they steamrolled Corning 51-14 on the road.
Yeah, CV is really rolling right now. I mean, they put up 82 points in the last 2 weeks. You know, it seems like this team has faced a lot of adversity that's helping them out during this league schedule. They faced adversity with injuries and through their schedule. You know, with Dylan Sindorf going down, Cody Connor went down last week. You know, it seems like everyone's rallying behind quarterback Tim Naylor, you know, and he's really taking control of this team. You know, he's also scored 2 times on defense in the last 2 weeks. So if CV can, you know, jump out on Wairika in this one and get this win, you know, start out in NAL 3-0, you know, that could be really big, you know, going forward and really improve their stock for the D2 playoffs.
And West Valley, a team that caught CV basically exactly the wrong time to start off NAL play a couple weeks ago. They rebounded last week, dealt Wairika their first loss of the year on the road. This week they host Lassen, a tough team perennially, but a team that's been a menacing rushing team over the years. Not so much this year. And for West Valley, who's got a lot of youth but a lot of experience and a lot of size on defense, they have a good chance of shutting down that rushing game early and kind of forcing Lassen to pass, which would really play into their hands as a team.
Yeah, and with Lassen being 2-0 in the NAL, this is a game West Valley has to win if they want to even have a shot at sharing the NAL title with CV later in the year. And they have these 2 teams, Lassen and West Valley, haven't played since 2010, when Lassen did beat them in the D2 semifinals. So for more game previews for all the other games and highlights and everything, check out prepbeat.com.